What's good? It's Casper. Today's video, I'm gonna be talking about the movie Creed 3. Creed 3 is a 2023 film. It's rated PG-13 and it's 1 hour and 56 minutes. Directed by Michael B. Jordan. Here we are, Creed 3. This is actually a movie that if anybody wanted to know what I thought about it, I would literally start off by saying, what do you want to hear first? The good news or the bad news first? Let's just start off with the good news. Let's start off with some positives. We do have a few positives and some interesting positives, to be honest. Let's just start with some interesting positives that I took from this movie right away. This Creed franchise, each movie had a different director. Each movie had a style where you can definitely feel the vibes that they were trying to put out with this whole story, and especially with the character Creed. Michael B. Jordan is directing this movie, and I don't know if this is his first directing role, so let's just go straight to the directing style. There was a lot of stuff in this movie that was a little bit different, a little bit more enhanced, but more of a swagger where you've been on set so long, can I finally put in my input in this? So with Michael B. Jordan's directing, I would just say that it was exactly kind of like his character was in this movie. Michael B. Jordan is like a mentor in this movie, Creed 3, and it was kind of weird to basically see that aura, that characteristics be presented on screen. Like, it was definitely that type of vibe of Michael B. Jordan as the director. He can keep it chill, he can kind of observe the whole set, and that's basically how his character was in this movie. I feel like that was something that intertwined with his whole style of making this whole movie. I think a lot of pressure got to him, and I think one of the main ones was Rocky, Sylvester Stallone not being a part of this journey. But I will say that this vibe of directing did have some cool moments, swagger moments, and some interesting times where you can be like, that was different from the other movies. It was something as well that did keep my attention span, did keep the vibe of Creed alive, but as the story just kept going, that's where I wanted to look at the different direction of, who are these writers working on this film. But overall, just the directing style, Michael B. Jordan, this one is an interesting one just because I'm getting into his acting game and him holding this role. Very impressed by it. And you can see that the people behind the scenes had a lot of trust in Michael B. Jordan handling this directing role. See what else he got under his sleeve on other movies he starts directing. I think in the second half of the movie, when he gets back into that Creed grind, that Creed main attack assassin vibe, I feel like that's where a lot of the directing style and the acting style finally was able to separate from each other instead of mixing it into one. I'm just more impressed that he actually chose to direct this movie while also being a main actor in here. Another positive that I took from this movie is the music score. For me, the music score in the last movie, I think the choices were pretty bad. In Creed 3, I thought the music choice was a lot more smoother, a lot more stronger, and it brought more of a vibe that you could actually get pumped up to. I think a lot of the stuff in Creed 2 was just like a little bit throw you off, let's stay in that generation sound. And this one right here, like I said before, you can use a lot of classical music if you wanted to, or go straight with that grimy hip-hop vibe that really gets the blood flowing and gets you hyped. So music score was an improvement in this one. That was something right there that I actually was like, thank goodness. I think one of the last positives in this movie was the fact that we did see some faces in the other movies back in this one, and obviously one of the ones that we're missing in here is like the biggest factor ever, the main factor, the reason why we did this movie is not in this movie, Stallone, but the other actors from the other movie are back in here, and that was something while watching this movie that you're just like, thank goodness that they're there. And when you did get introduced to new characters, it was just more of that world of just expanding. I mean, that's the positives I would say about this movie. The storyline is a little bit like, why? You can see that they're trying to work with a lot of things that are missing. The negatives, the things that I didn't like about the movie, first things first is that Stallone is not in this movie. Very wild that not even once in this movie he got brought up. Not even once did that person, that figure that was actually caring for Adonis was not present in this movie at all. The behind the scenes choices, very wild. That the behind the scenes could have been a jungle war. I'm pretty sure Creed 3, the whole brainstorming of it, I could only imagine what was being said behind the scenes. But Sylvester Stallone not being in this movie, automatic point down, automatic, what are you guys doing? Once again, this movie is trying to do its thing on basically distinguishing itself from Rocky and Creed on just basically their own journeys. So going into Creed 3 after Creed 2, you would think that it will be right on point in the same era, right around the same time Creed literally just defeated Drago's son. So that's what I was expecting in this third one. What they're trying to show us in Creed 3. Right away, I'm like, yo, we just skipped time for some odd reason. Like, we went like 10 years ahead into the future. In my opinion, I feel like the first half of Creed 3 could have been part of Creed 2, we would have had a better understanding on why Rocky isn't in this third one if they had to go that route to basically let his character go. This one right here, it just threw me off on just where we ended up at. Now Adonis is now retired. I'm just like, bro, he doesn't even look like he aged too much. The only thing that was a difference was basically his hair being a lot more fuller and basically not trimming none of the hair that he has to make it look like he's a little bit older. The way they want to tell this story, I feel like it was very off. It's like, why did we find this out now in the third one? Why didn't Rocky know about this? And how did we not know that Adonis had this past like this when he was a child? So I could see what they were trying to do. I could see that they were just trying to make it way all about Adonis, all about Creed in this movie. But overall, while watching the whole flow of it, I'm like, the placing was off, forced us to be in these moments, forced us to feel for Michael B. Jordan's character. And it was just very sad that with this force of a storytelling in this movie, that a lot of characters ended up having to be gone. And that's something that really disappointed me, but it still got to you because, you know, you actually cared about these characters, and over the movies we're able to understand them a lot more, kind of like just building a friendship with them. I would just say a lot of the stuff of the swagger, the intense moments, the action, the sequences that just basically hype you up, once again in here didn't have a good build up to those moments. It was just like a forced thing. I could see they're trying to relate to a lot of the new gen, a lot of the new stuff on TV, with First Take being on Creed 3 and Stephen A. Smith being in this movie. Man, there was just a lot of stuff in here that they were just trying to make us fall in love with this movie. You can see with some of the acting in here, it's just like, dang, we have to be on this moment now as well. Another thing that threw me off is just seeing Drago's son dap up Creed. Like, that was just the weirdest thing ever. Like I said, seeing these characters in the second one in here, you would think that there's beef still. They're not supposed to like each other at all. So that was super off. Not like the fact that Michael B. Jordan is now like the guy who in charge of these things and being like a mentor of the gym. It's just like, no, we don't want to be here. I didn't want to be there. And then seeing those moments of them dapping up each other, Drago's son and Creed, very off. A lot of things while I'm watching it, I'm like, dang, what happened behind the scenes? Michael B. Jordan plays Adonis Creed, and going to this version of Adonis Creed, it was just something that it was like with the acting, you could see that this character is trying to shine throughout every scene. I mean, thank goodness that Michael B. Jordan's acting is very presentable, and he holds a really good standard in this Creed movies. A lot of the stuff that from the other movies are still here and well represented. And one thing that I feel like is also well represented as well is just the fact that Michael B. Jordan knows that his character is at this point of his career, even though how awkward we ended up there. But I would just say Michael B. Jordan back in the spotlight in the second half of the movie was exactly what I was trying to watch throughout this whole Creed franchise and this Creed movie. The interactions with Jonathan Majors, it was cool to just bring another character where you could see it will affect Adonis, Michael B. Jordan. But overall, this character right here was just trying his best to survive this movie and make it as intense as possible. The only thing that I liked from Michael B. Jordan's acting in this movie was just the relationship with his daughter. It was just crazy to see that his daughter's at that age now. That was the best part of the movie in my opinion, was just the interaction between Michael B. Jordan and his daughter in this movie. I thought that was just a shining thing in there. Jonathan Majors plays Damian Anderson. The way they presented that story was an interesting thing to look at, but it was kind of confusing as well. And like I said, with the scenarios just forcing us to be here, that's his character as well. He's literally just forced there. His acting was pretty good in those intense moments where they're like basically in their head like crazy. It's just like a lot of fairy tale fantasy whenever he got brought up, but the acting was okay and it was an interesting role for him. I think like the way he looks in general, you can definitely put him as a boxer, and I think that's what the main goal was. Tessa Thompson plays Bianca Creed, and this was like what I was talking about with the storyline of just moving so far ahead, with her being able to know that her character already had the kid. She's still in her career, cooling it down a little bit, her music career. That's what her character was, just growth and somebody who's there for Adonis going through these crazy trials as a boxer. Do like that the family vibe was still there. Do like the relationship with Adonis's mom, felt very warm and heartfelt. I like that moment right there. Thank goodness that Tessa Thompson, Bianca Creed, is still a good vibe in the third one. Felicia Rashad plays Marianne Creed, and this one right here was absolutely wild because it was one of those choices behind the scenes that you just have to accept that this character is probably gonna go through its battles. But overall, the lines in this movie for her, intense to be honest. Again, I think they executed with that section in the movie, especially with Adonis and his mom in this movie. Very wild choice with her character. It just makes you think about the choices behind the scenes even more. Mila Davis Kent plays Amara Creed. She's the daughter of Adonis Creed. And right when she showed up on screen, it was just that adorable thing, like, no way, look how grown up the baby is now. It just got me thinking, I'm like, dang, how much time did we go ahead? It's very, very insane. Her acting was really, really cool to look at. I'm very impressed with the sign language throughout the whole movie. Crazy to see that the daughter being a crazy light to her parents. Man, what could have been of Rocky and her interacting. I thought that would have been so adorable to see, so awesome. You would just see the family tree growing. The last scene, the fighting scenes as well. It was interesting how it was filmed. I thought it was very, very cool. Kind of looked like a video game. The way the movie ended, was disappointed in that. Did not like how the movie ended. I'm like, bro, this is how you ruin a franchise. Like, that was a terrible way to end this movie. The way Adonis gets his belt back is cool, but the way to end the movie on just him walking away from the ring he just won at, and we don't see anything after ending, for me, really pissed me off. And you have some really good writers involved in this movie. The director of Sinners is one of the writers, Ryan Coogler. And I was like, brother, I'm like, you cannot make this up. After my watching the movie Creed 3 out of 10, I'm gonna have to give this movie a 7 out of 10. That's my movie review for the movie Creed 3. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.